So, it has been about a year since Crash Team Rumble's beta was released, and not 1 year into the game, it has been announced that support for Rumble is ending. My relationship with Rumble has been one that's been all over the place. So, since this game has just ended so abruptly, I thought I should briefly go over the history with the game itself, my opinions on the final product, and, ramble about Rumble, because I have some things to say about this one. For those out of the loop, Rumble was initially called Wumpa League, and this Wumpa League game was teased as early as Crash 4's release. What was Wumpa League at this time? As far as I knew, it was an online competitive multiplayer game. I wasn't too interested since I'm not much of an online gamer, and I had a feeling my friends wouldn't be too interested in the game. Crash fans like myself got more teases about the game, whispers of the game being revealed officially came up, and the game itself failed to appear, which made me think that this fabled Wumpa League game was a dumb hoax. Of course, eventually, Wumpa League was revealed, and while it was neat seeing the game exist after all, the wait just killed any little ounce of interest I had in the game. You can only dangle the carrot in front of the rabbit for so long before it stops caring. But of course, Activision were nice enough to supply those interested with a playable beta. There was just a catch though. You had to digitally pre-order the game. A stunt similar to the one pulled for Crash 4's demo. Now I made a video on the beta build, and my opinions were positive. I found the gameplay addicting and unique, and while the game lacked variety, it was just a sample of what was to come. It was clear to me that this was just a beta, not the finished product, but I was eagerly anticipating more. The game came out a few months later, and I was hooked like before. Like I anticipated, the first season was more of the same, that being more maps and characters to play as. The game went on to get some middling review scores, but I just couldn't stop playing Crash Team Rumble. Then Season 2 rolled around and we got the new party mode, which was also a lot of fun. Not as much as the main game, but it was a good alternative if you wanted more Rumble, but wanted a break from the competitive chaos. Season 3 added more maps and characters, as well as a new party game mode or two. And then something felt off about Rumble. Season 3 got an extra week, the logo for Season 4 was pretty bland looking in comparison to the others, and then Season 4 was just Toys for Bob dumping tons of content at us, with most of it being recycled from previous seasons if you missed them, and it was announced that Rumble will no longer see any updates. Now for those that aren't aware, I'll do my best to give a brief explanation as to what has been going on, since I'm not an expert with inter-game studio occurrences. But Microsoft has bought out Activision, which has resulted in many layoffs at various studios associated with the publisher, including Toys for Bob, Rumble's developers. With this happening, Toys for Bob have made the decision to part ways from Activision to become an indie studio, sort of leaving the fate for Crash Bandicoot up in the air. Now of course, Toys for Bob weren't the only company responsible for the Crash Bandicoot renaissance we've seen in recent years. However, Toys for Bob were the ones that made Crash Bandicoot 4, It's About Time, which was the first brand new mainline Crash game after a big 12-year gap. And while it had some glaring issues, it was still an awesome Crash title. Now, I am not saying Beenox or Vicarious Visions or some other studio can't make a new Crash game, but something about Toys for Bob felt right in my opinion. So while I am interested in seeing what they'll cook up later on, I will miss their work on the Crash IP. Speaking of Crash, let's pivot back to Rumble and how I feel about the game now. To be honest, I've been feeling a bit burnt out on the game towards the end of Season 3. I do like the new character, Spyro, he's so much fun to play as, but at this point I've already sunk hundreds of hours into the game. And while I would like to grind out the Season 4 Battle Pass, I just can't bring myself to do it anymore. Now that Rumble is done, I can go back to playing proper video games again. You know, the ones with a proper single-player experience. It's just not worth booting up Rumble anymore to play a few matches at a time to level up on the Battle Pass anymore to unlock a skin that I got back in October. The only thing left Rumble can offer me are the remaining challenges, which require tons of grinding in the party mode, with my reward being a theme that I'll never use, and that level 500 grind, and neither one of these tasks interest me enough to warrant going after them. Maybe I'll do it after posting this video, maybe I'll do it next month, but how do I know if people will still be playing this when I return to Rumble? That was my one fear with Rumble, whether or not the game would last beyond the first year. And while Rumble did survive a little longer than I anticipated, 10 or so months is still bad for a game like this in my opinion. Unfortunately, there just isn't anything that can be done to save Rumble now. However, there are a few things that I think Activision or other companies could do to prevent another blunder like this in the future. For one, the amount of teases Rumble got before its reveal was simply too much. Crash fans are very eager about these tiny little teases and little nudges towards the reveal of new games, but they can't just do this and then abruptly postpone things. This is also more of an Activision gripe, if anything, but I also want these guys to just stop trying to incorporate microtransactions into Crash Bandicoot. They said they wouldn't with the Crash Team Racing remake, which ended up happening shortly after launch. There was Crash on the Run, which was a free-to-play mobile phone game that also had an abrupt ending. And now Rumble, which has a premium currency that can be used to gain more levels on the Battle Pass. Crash Bandicoot has a sizable fan base, so naturally there's going to be some people that are going to spend extra money. But this design process honestly bugs me. Run was the best game for this sort of design mindset, but because the game flopped, that ship has sailed. But yeah, I really don't have much of an ending to this thing, so I guess farewell Crash Team Rumble. It's been a lot of fun. I'm really gonna miss playing the game. I'm gonna miss Toys for Bob's work on the Crash IP, like I said. I'm really hoping that we get Crash Bandicoot 5 soon, or whatever they want to call the next mainline Crash game. And I hope whoever makes it takes some notes from Toys for Bob and makes an excellent product. I'm sure they will. But I think I'm done here. I'm sorry if this short video came off as random ramblings, but I just wanted to say a few things about Rumble. Now that the game is about a year old, and I guess to give the game one proper farewell. Hopefully next time when I talk about Crash Bandicoot, it'll be positive. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video.